Hello everyone, welcome to Tea with Ravi, and today we will discuss and we will go through some of the recent updates from the Atlassian ecosystem. Now the first update is not really that recent, but a lot of people know about it already, but I thought, okay, let me just walk you through these updates. And these are significant updates because there are a lot of new features in Jira Service Management, and these features were announced by Atlassian in December. So there was an event called High Velocity ITSM, and I went there. It was in London, and I spent time meeting a lot of people, and also I did attend a few sessions, but that event was focused on ITSM, and ITSM is definitely one area, ITSM or service desk or help desk. A lot of organizations, they already use Jira Service Management because it has a lot of benefits as compared to other tools. But Jira Service Management was always considered like a lightweight extension to Jira to do some kind of service desk. But now these updates, and I believe these significant updates will definitely push Jira Service Management to wider audience or basically different type of organizations who want to use Jira, or maybe they considered using Jira, but maybe for some reason they were not convinced with the features because there were some key, or I should say important features that were never there in Jira Service Management. Now, if you look at this post, and by the way, if you are watching this video or if you are listening to this podcast, you can always find the link to my post where you can find these updates, these links, so you can go through it. So don't worry about the link. I'll just, walk you through and also talk about some of these new features in ITSM. Now, the first feature which is listed on the post is Zoom for incident management. So I believe what this will do, it will basically let the agents create Zoom meetings. Now, how this will work, of course, we need to see. We need to, of course, evaluate it. And I believe on my channel, I made one video where I showed, I think it was using some app. And that app was basically doing more or less the same thing. It was basically getting some kind of a link. I believe it was Zoom, if I remember correctly. But because I did a lot of ITSM implementations, and I know that when these organizations, they are trying to look for a tool, when they're trying to evaluate Jira, usually they send out this questionnaire with a lot of questions in it. Can Jira Service Management or can Jira Service Desk, it used to be called as Jira Service Desk, can it do this specific thing where they can connect to their customers and they can do remote desktop? So of course, it was never really a thing in Jira. But I believe what this feature will do, it will let the agents create a Zoom invite and they can share it with hopefully their customers, and of course, things are not always straightforward. We need to understand what kind of customers are we talking about. Are we talking about customers within your organization, or are we talking about customers outside your organization? But definitely, if we can do this easily, natively, then it should be good for everyone. Now, the next thing that I can see here in the list is very interesting. It is all about AI-powered virtual agent. Now, long back, like 5 years ago, I did a talk on chat in Jira Service Management, and I did basically try a couple of solutions. I did it actually for a company where they were looking for some kind of a chat-based solution. Now, in Jira Service Desk, or Jira Service Management, there was never really this feature of chat, but there used to be one app that you can install and do chatting. That was really interesting. But at the same time, I did try solutions that were outside Jira So there used to be something called as Chat Leo, which you can integrate with Slack, I believe. So there were some capabilities, but I think having some kind of virtual agent so that you can deflect a lot of tickets. Like if I need some help, I can ask questions. But uh, if that question is very common, maybe I just need to reset my password. I think 80% of the problems or things that people ask for can be deflected if you have like some knowledge base or some kind of a chat based solution. Of course, chat based solutions are not always super useful for everyone, because if I need some help, if I, let us say, if I have some problem in my account, I would love to chat with a real person so they can resolve it, because you can't really replace a virtual agent. I mean, you can't really replace an agent with a virtual agent, but it is good that we will have hopefully some features. I remember also looking at, I'm not really sure if you know about Watson. I believe Watson is some kind of a online virtual chat kind of a solution which you can integrate with other tools. I did look at it, but of course I didn't really spend too much time evaluating it further. But if Jira Service Management would have something inbuilt, then yeah, that would be great. I have signed up for the beta waitlist, so maybe if Atlassian gives me access, I'll try, and I would love to see this in action. And there are some other updates on this page. I'll probably talk about some of them, not really all of them, but one thing which is interesting is the automation rule. We all know about automation rules in Jira, and we all know about the Confluence automations, but which is of course recent. But if you look online, if you go to Jira Cloud and if you try to create a rule, you will see one option to do something in Amazon. So there is something called as Amazon Simple Notification System, which I have no idea, but it is good to see that there is something called as Amazon Simple Notification System. I believe it is for notification, as the name suggests. My knowledge of AWS Amazon is very limited, but good thing is that you don't really have to make a REST call. Good thing about Amazon is, not Amazon, but at automation is that there is always this capability of making a REST call, which is great because you can do something from Jira to another tool. And you can also do something in Jira. So we do have webhooks. So you can basically create one automation rule with a webhook so that you can trigger something in Jira from outside tool. So that is always there, but for doing something very quickly and easily, if you have this action, like built-in action that you can configure without writing any automation and worrying about parsing the JSON, I think that is definitely going to help a lot. So it is definitely a good feature, and I would love to try it, but I just need to figure out what exactly is AWS SNS, which is basically some kind of simple notification system. And if you know about it, do give it a try. And there are some automations related to Amazon AWS, so do take a look at it, and hopefully it will help you if you're using already this AWS thing. And let me know if you have anything to suggest or add to it. There are some other improvements in automation, which is on the lines of incident management, like Opsgenie. I don't really use Opsgenie because I never really got a chance to use it, but I tried it. It seems okay, and I was able to do things. And good thing is that Opsgenie works really well with Jira. So these new automation rules will help you do things in Opsgenie. I will definitely try it out whenever I get a chance to play with it. Also, there are some improvements to the form. So when you create a form, which I have tried briefly, but I need to play with it a bit more, because in Jira Service Management there is now this option to create a form, like a bit more dynamic form. And I can see here in this post that it will now support labels, affected services, and assets. So this is definitely interesting. I need to basically catch up with these new features. I, of course, don't just want to talk about it. I will also, evaluate it myself and use it, because I use it. I use Jira Service Management, but I'm yet to use or try out these new features. I'm not really sure if I would be using these features straight away, because whenever there are new features, I prefer to wait for some time for these features to settle down, and sometimes these features are rushed by Atlassian. So I rather wait for a stable version, or basically for some more time, so that when I'm totally confident that yes, these features are working, then I will also use it for my customers. The next feature is talking about risk questionnaire templates, so some kind of a questionnaire, I believe, that might help. It is like some form that you can, like some template based form which you can straight away use, and that is it on the page. So this is definitely interesting because we all are using Jira, we all use Jira Service Management, but usually, this is of course not a complaint, but just a general feedback from everyone. There are not a lot of significant updates from Atlassian when it comes to JSM. Now we have a lot of these updates. We all know about Jira Work Management. Jira Work Management is totally new, like a lot of new features as compared to Jira Core. I'm sure you know Jira Core or Jira Business, but Jira Work Management definitely is now really good. I like it. I have started using it, and my clients are using it. It works. It is nice. It is easy to use, but Jira Service Management, I believe these features were definitely needed. So good to know about it. And then there are some upcoming events. I know about, of course, Team 2023. I might, most likely I will go to Team 23. That will happen in Las Vegas. And if you're going there to Las Vegas on April 18th to 20th, then try to find me, and I would love to meet you and know more about you. But there is this another event called Ping 23. I don't know what exactly is this, but I'll let you go to this link and try it out. Just look at it. Ping 23 is, I believe, I'm not really sure if it is an Atlassian event, but it is an event. But the event that I'm more interested in is the SITS event, so SITS event, which is an annual event that happens in London. So this year's event will happen on May 10th and 11th. I've been to a couple of SITS events because the company I used to work for, they were heavily into ITSM. So I know this event, it is interesting, and 10th of May is a bit too far, but I will try to be there as well. All right, so this is all about JSM, new features of JSM and events related to JSM. The second update is not really an update, but it is more about something that I want to share. Now, if you are a consultant, if you are like me, or if you're trying to use Jira, if you are a project management, if you're doing something with Jira, then you should definitely look at this post and read it. It will take maybe, some time. It might take half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, but do spend some time looking at this post on Hacker News or ycombinator.com, where someone has posted this simple thing called Why Jira Sucks. And people have done some discussions around Jira. Some people are totally against Jira. Some people are totally in favor of Jira. But the whole idea of this post, if you read this post, there is really good interesting discussion happening here. It is a bit old post, like 2 year old post, where someone, of course, was saying that Jira is difficult to use. It is slow, but at the same time, if you look at this post, if you try to read it, you can also relate to how Jira is being used in your organization. And it is not really about Jira. That is the main idea. If, let us say, in your organization, people are always complaining about Jira, so it is not really a complaint for Jira. It is more about the process or the way you work in your organization. If, let us say, you are, let me give you a very simple example. Let us say you're working for, as a consultant, you're working for a very big financial organization, and they are developing, let us say they have a team and they are developing something, let us say a mobile app. Now, in that organization, because it's a financial organization, they are controlled by the regulator. whatever they are doing, they are supposed to keep track of each and everything. They are supposed to maintain the traceability of their requirements to the delivery. Whenever they raise bug, whatever they do in their team, they need to track it somewhere. Now, in that case, of course, it makes sense to use Jira for tracking a lot of things. Like it would be a bit waterfallish kind of a model where you basically make sure that everything is there in the tool and you're not really evolving the requirements on the fly. But if you are doing the same thing, but maybe for it may not be a big financial organization, but it may be, let us say, some small insurance company, or maybe not even insurance, because insurance is also controlled by these regulatory bodies. But maybe you are working as a consultant for some tech company, and they are doing something which is like maybe they're delivering some app for food delivery, right? Now, of course, in that case, in their case, they are driven by not really the audit and compliance, but they are driven by the speed of work. They are driven by the market pressure. So, in that case, in their situation, they need to make sure that their developers are spending more time fixing things, developing things, and delivering things instead of updating their Jira tickets. So the way they work, the way both the teams work, they are doing software development. They are following the exact same way of working. Like they will probably start with epics and then stories, and they will of course do their sprints. But maybe in the case of first company, they will probably spend a lot of time making sure that each and every bug is logged as a ticket. But in the second case, maybe they just fix the bugs, and then whenever they are committing or whenever they are merging their branch, they will simply link it to their epic. So in both the cases, the traceability will be there. But in case number 2, because they have to deliver fast and they can't really afford to track each and everything, they might skip raising tasks and bugs in Jira. They will simply fix the code. So I'm just trying to give you an example. But in both the cases, it is not really Jira that you should blame, or that you should, in a way, try to bring in to your discussions of process, because it is more about the process itself. If you are trying to use Jira or any other tool, you have to calculate and you have to basically figure out what you need, what is your expectations from the tool, because the way you configure the tool, the way you want to use the tool, your Jira policy depends a lot on what you're doing as a company. So if you read this post, this is of course just one example, but if you read this post on ycombinator.com, why Jira Sucks, I'll give you the link, by the way, don't worry about it. You can learn a lot about these interesting things and use cases. So that is about why Jira Sucks. The next thing that I want to talk about is the video of the week. Now, recently I was trying to do some kind of release notes, and I noticed, which I, for some reason, I never really appreciated, but on Jira Cloud, when you create a new release note, when you go to your release page, let us say you're working on stories and epics and you release something, right? Because we also develop apps and we also try to track things in Jira, and it is good to track something in Jira, but at the same time, when you create a release note, your release notes would be useful not only for your internal team, but also for your customers, in case you have a product, in case you have, let us say you have a Jira app. Now, if you use these release notes, you can say to your customers, okay, in version 2.2, we worked on these stories or epics. So I made this video where I showed how you can quickly create these release notes from Jira to Confluence, which you can do easily. There is no special automation. But at the same time, you can also copy these release notes to a Markdown or HTML format, which you can use anywhere, maybe on your website. So this is interesting. Just do give it a try. And if you want to learn how to do it, just watch this video. The last thing that I want to talk about today is about the use cases. Now, I answer a lot of questions on the community, Atlassian community, and of course, I'm a consultant. I work with my clients. I encounter different situations, different ways of working when it comes to Jira, and the way people use Jira is different. It has to be different because you can't really Jira is not really about, okay, these are the workflows, these are the issue types, these are the permission schemes, and use it. You can't really just force anyone to use your configurations. It is not really only a tool thing. It is more about understanding that customers need. And the example that I gave you, that app that a big financial organization is developing versus the same app or similar app developed by a food delivery tech startup, they both might be using Jira in a similar way, configuration wise, but the process will dictate, and your people and the speed of work, the how quickly you want to deliver things. Do you want your developers to spend more time updating your Jira issues or writing code? So these things actually define, and you have to basically keep these things in your mind when you are trying to suggest a solution or help someone get the most out of Atlassian tools. So on my channel, I do share these things regularly, but now what I will do, I will create a separate series called Jira Use Cases. Simple, right? Simple name, Jira Use Cases, and I will share only these use cases where I will try to share my experience, and this will definitely help, because in case you're trying to use Jira, it is not really about the tool, it is not really about the features, it is not really about the automations, it is also about what you're trying to do as a company, as a team. And this series, Jira Use Cases, of course, anyone can learn from it. If you're a project manager, you definitely should. This is definitely for you, because as a project manager, you will be managing different kind of projects, different type of teams. You will be working in big companies or small companies, so this will definitely help you. But if you are a consultant like me, then it might also help you to help your customers. So I will be starting soon to post videos on this Jira use cases. And that is all. That is all for this week's updates. I hope this video, this podcast was useful. In case you are listening to this podcast, you can also subscribe to my channel on YouTube, where I, of course, make daily videos and I talk about wonderful things that you can do with Jira. So thank you once again. Have a nice day. Bye bye.